A few months ago, the US Air Force revealed their first 6th generation fighter, the F-47. Well, they revealed the name and posted some renderings of what it might look like, and at the time of writing, other 6th gen programs like GCAP, FCAS and PAC-DP haven't even managed to get to that stage. In contrast, the Chinese public have been snapping images of China's 6th gen fighter jets semi-regularly for the best part of 9 months. And yes, jets, plural. There are at least 2 designs. These 2 mysterious jets join a growing collection of Chinese stealth aircraft that are becoming increasingly difficult to stay on top of. Air superiority fighters, strategic bombers, strike aircraft, carrier aircraft, and unmanned drones. In this short video, I will attempt to explain what these aircraft are, how they fit into Chinese doctrine, how to tell them apart, and if the West should be worried. Let's dive in. Let's start with what we know for sure before covering the more speculative designs. The backbone of China's stealth aircraft fleet over the next decade will be formed of 2 5th generation fighter designs, the Chengdu J-20 and the Shenyang J-35. The J-20 can be viewed as the Chinese equivalent to the US's F-22 Raptor. It's a stealthy, twin-engine, all-weather air superiority fighter. First flying in 2011, there have already been over 300 J-20s produced across 3 variants: the standard J-20, the improved J-20A, and the 2-seater J-20S. We know about the J-20. Naturally, there are questions around its exact capabilities, but that's par for the course. We also know about the J-35. This can be viewed as the Chinese equivalent to the F-35, and it's easy to remember this as it looks extremely similar and has, essentially, the same name. Like its American counterpart, the J-35 is an all-weather, multi-role strike fighter designed to be deployed in large numbers and at lower unit cost than the equivalent air superiority fighter. Like the F-35, the J-35 is split into multiple variants, with the J-35 itself being a carrier-borne aircraft and the J-35A being designed for land operations. But unlike the F-35, J-35 has 2 engines and no ability to hover or land vertically. The J-35 is slated to replace many of the Sukhoi derivatives in Chinese service, but at time of writing, there has likely been less than a dozen aircraft produced. What we also know, for sure, is that there have been sightings of at least 3 other Chinese stealth aircraft. This one, and this one. So let's do some educated speculation. But before that, a quick message sponsored by Raycon. Look, I love Top Gun. High octane, Tomcat action, a ridiculous script, and excellent volleyball content. But I genuinely think I prefer Top Gun Maverick, the 2022 sequel with Miles Teller and Glenn Powell. Don't you love it when one of your favourites comes back even better? Well, this August, it is Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classics that are back and better than ever, now packing active noise cancellation. I've been using Raycons for a year now, and these new everyday earbuds are a great upgrade. I think active noise cancellation was the only feature the old ones were missing. Pair that with 8 hours of listening time and a 32-hour battery, it feels like they never leave my ears. At work, doing the shopping, making models, going to the gym, they really are my everyday earbuds. I also wear them when I'm running, and unlike some other brands, they actually do stay in my ears thanks to the different sizes of gel tips provided in the box. More running, less adjusting my earbuds. The Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classics offer all of the features of other brands for a fraction of the price, with sturdy build quality, reliable button functions, and tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. Sometimes sequels can be disappointing, but these definitely aren't. Go to buyraycon.com/RWF to get 20% off these fan favourites with free shipping right to your door. Don't miss out. So, let's speculate. Let's start with this design, the aircraft currently referred to by many analysts as the J-36. This was first spotted December 26, 2024, and is a 6th generation heavy stealth aircraft, with 3 engines, a side-by-side cockpit, no tail, and a diamond double delta wing, produced by Chengdu Aircraft Corporation. It's got a central dorsal intake as well as twin inlets below the fuselage, mounted ahead of a large weapons bay. Flying wing designs aren't typically very manoeuvrable, but the J-36 boasts an incredible array of split flaps and control surfaces along its trailing edge, so the capabilities of the aircraft remain largely a mystery. Many Chinese analysts are convinced it is carrier capable, despite being so large. Some even report the J-36 has already successfully landed on the carrier Fujian. This could tie into some reports from spring about a cutting-edge, semi-automated landing system for flying wing aircraft. Landing big aircraft on carriers is, after all, possible, but I can't imagine this big Dorito will be very efficient to store, but maybe they've got an algorithm for that too. There is some disagreement to the role of the J-36. US intelligence seems to lean towards an air superiority role, but some analysts believe that it's actually part of the J-XDS program, a Chinese development project for a regional stealth bomber. The large aircraft could also fill a sort of hybrid fighter-bomber role, not unlike the Russian Sukhoi Su-34. The size of the jet certainly indicates a large combat radius, potentially an attempt to offset the lack of aerial refueling capacity within the PLAAF. Perhaps it is also some sort of sensor platform, a force multiplier. We really don't know. Not many air superiority fighters have side-by-side cockpits though. Another reason that many think J-36 isn't an air superiority fighter is the fact that one of the other unknown 6th gen aircraft almost definitely is one. This aircraft, built by Shenyang, has been tentatively named the J-50, but is sometimes referred to as the J-XD or J-XDS. This design is a smaller and more nimble aircraft with smaller, split weapons bays. Another tailless design, the J-50 has twin engines with thrust-vectored exhausts and a distinctive lambda wing with articulating wingtips, features that hint at a much more manoeuvrable aircraft. While initial reports hypothesized this may be an uncrewed airframe, later sightings and more photos confirmed it did indeed have a cockpit, and aside from that, we know very little. So that leaves this aircraft. Many believe that this is the first sighting of China's H-20, a stealth bomber design intended to serve the same role as the B-2 Spirit or B-21 Raider. Up until very recently, the H-20, produced by Zhan, has only existed in renderings, but these photos certainly hint at a very large flying wing design optimized for stealth. Of course, there is nothing to rule out this being a completely different project, however, some sort of long-endurance stealth drone or drone mothership. The J-XDS program has confirmed to be under development by US intelligence services, so if J-36 isn't part of that program, then we can be sure to see another large bomber-type aircraft over the coming years, designed to strike targets around China as part of a conflict closer to home. And then, just as I was happy enough with this script, this appeared at the start of August. By comparing it to the J-36 and J-50, you can see it looks sort of like neither of them and both of them at the same time. We don't know quite how big this aircraft is or even if it has a cockpit. Many think this is a rival to the J-50. It certainly seems to be similar in size and shape, and of course it's not uncommon for prototypes to be made of two aircraft to allow head-to-head tests, like the X-32/X-35 or the YF-23 and YF-22. There's also speculation that this new aircraft is a drone, a Collaborative Combat Aircraft or CCA. There have been many of these spotted flying or seen in various satellite images, and we will no doubt see many of them during the September the 3rd Victory Parade, so we may find out more then. It's also worth saying that similar images have been taken of alleged American aircraft over the last couple of years. The assumption is that the US are still ahead of the Chinese to some extent, but we really don't know by how much. It could be that they're just much more careful about hiding test flights, considering the Chinese tendency to borrow designs. But like all of these aircraft, we simply do not know. Anyone trying to tell you with any certainty how capable any of these aircraft are, when they are going to enter service, or how they compare with existing designs, should not be paid much attention. We can hypothesize and theorize and try to model these aircraft to the best of our ability, but nobody with any sense is trying to accurately compare a B-21 and an H-20 based off one image taken from literally miles away. So let's summarize. The J-20 is a 5th gen air superiority aircraft. The J-35 is a 5th gen multi-role with carrier capabilities. The H-20 is a stealth strategic bomber, and this might be an image of it. It could also be an image of the J-XDS, a regional stealth bomber confirmed to be in development. Or perhaps the J-36 is the J-XDS. J-36 could instead be a dedicated strike aircraft or 6th generation fighter. The J-50 is most likely a 6th generation fighter aircraft, and I'm sure more will be revealed about this mystery design over the coming months. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. I really made it to answer my own questions on the topic. I felt a bit lost, so I did the research, and now we all know. Remember to like and subscribe and support me on Patreon like the rest of these lovely people. Anyway, I'll see you next time.